Alright, hello. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for showing up. And today is episode 12. That's awesome. Super duper. Do some adjustment here that I forgot to do last time. Make sure we got a nice tight frame here, so you're not looking at half my desktop or whatever that we had going on last time. I wish I could just like set this in stone. Like, Minecraft, start at this resolution instead of having me resize it every time. That'd be helpful. I mean, I can't complain too much, but who am I kidding? I can complain all I want. Alright, so let's see here. I want to make sure everything is working right before I get too much into this, because you know, technical difficulties and stuff suck. Okay, looks like we got audio, we've got video, everything looks like it's going the way it's supposed to be. Cool. Excellent. Okay, so, here we go. Oh, wow, there's already conversation going on. That's awesome. Cool. Yeah, so today, what we are going to do is a lot of stuff. At the end of episode 11, which was last week, we got to see the thing in action, which I'm still giddy about. That's awesome. We got it working. How cool is that? Yeah. So yeah, we've got it working. It's got some like a room programmed into it, and the next thing that we have to do is the dynamic objects, because now that we have the actual static objects working properly, the dynamic objects are the next step. The dynamic object system is going to be a little bit different, and by a little bit I mean, you know, quite a bit different than the way we did it in the first version of the Prelude of the Chambered, mainly because it won't have to be as complicated. So yes, go us. One of the things that we're going to be doing is back here in our little imagery data block, I guess you could call it that. There are some certain frames that are, you know, the walls that basically make up a whole wall. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go into the middle of those frames, and we're going to put a couple of extra little data torches in there that look like cracks in the middle of the walls. And those cracked walls are going to be the walls that we break. Basically the lines that have that bit of data in it, which it's not going to be a whole lot of data really, but the lines that have that data in it, like whatever, are going to be separated out from the main lines here. We're going to reroute the power to go around that. And these separated lines are going to have their own power feed that's going to be connected to our dynamic object system, so that depending on whether there's supposed to be a wall there or not, we can just turn on those little cracks in the walls that indicate that there's a breakable wall there. And then the feed coming off of the dynamic object system is also going to come around and power the rest of the line also, so that we have, you know, a wall shows up, and we also have then a cracked wall, so that when the cracked wall is broken, it shuts off the whole line, the whole frame, as well as the middle piece, so it, you know, breaks the wall and allows the player to continue on. And it's going to be interesting because we're going to have some interrupts in here as well. The dynamic object systems, if there is a wall in the direction that the player is facing that is breakable, it's going to have to send a blocking signal to the move forward command. And why do I have a magma cube? I have a magma slime. That's terrible. He's catching everything on fire. Good thing nothing actually catches on fire. But if he touches my screen, oh man, I'm gonna kick his. Anyway, so the dynamic object is gonna have to feed an interrupter into the move forward command if there is a a wall in the way so that the player can't just move inside of the breakable wall, and then disable that interrupter once the wall has been broken so that the player can actually move through it, which is pretty cool. It's gonna be quite a bit different. Hey, there's no cows up here. Haha, yay. That's actually kind of sad. I miss my cows. Don't get any ideas, anybody. I'm gonna come back and there's gonna be cows like all over my entire device, mooing and being cow-like. Anyway, so yeah, we've got quite a bit to do as far as the dynamic object system, and I'm not going to be programming anything else into the static object system until we have some extra stuff to work with, because there's not really much point at this point. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Alright, so what we're going to have for this to work is the 7 feeds that come off of the essentially the 7-bit positional feeds are going to also have to be extended. They're going to have to continue on over this way, out past the end of here. And we're going to have the same kind of decoder that Gremlcar, in his geniusness, came up with, that will connect to the system here that's going to be telling it whether there's, where the player is. And if there is a breakable wall in the direction that the player is facing, then we're going to have it power some outputs to whatever feed is essentially whatever feed is appropriate. There's going to be some interesting busing as far as that goes, because we have stuff on the left side and also on the right side. I'm a little concerned about information propagation. In other words, I'm a little worried about the data that's getting output from the dynamic objects not reaching the right-hand side of the screen data. So, for objects on the right-hand side, walls that are on the right-hand side of the screen, before the screen fully renders. So I'm kind of concerned that there'll be like moments where you're looking down a hallway and there is a breakable object on the right, but like the screen will render and a hole, as if there was a walkway there, will be there, and then boop, the dynamic object, the breakable wall, will appear after the rest of the screen is rendered. I don't know if that's a problem, but it is something that I am concerned about. So we'll have to address that when if it happens, and in the meantime, we'll just kind of work with what we got. And so we're gonna need some space. We'll have to clear out some of this stuff. I think this is the instant wire stuff for here, which is cool, but we don't need that anymore, so we'll be able to clear that out in a bit. Basically, right now we're gonna have to pump. Yeah, see, Grem's already on top of it. Grem's the man with the plan. So I'm gonna pump some stuff over here. I'm still thinking about this a little bit. We've got the 7-bit stacks, so I'm gonna help Graham here and pull these out a ways. Once we get past here, I don't know how much room we're necessarily gonna need right here, but let's go ahead and give us some extra room. We can always move it over and condense it down a little bit if we need to. And let's see, so let's go like this, and then we can just break it. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, I guess not quite. There we go. That's gonna be an interesting little dilemma. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. God, there we go. 7. All right, so there's our 7 little dots, so we can actually take and run the lines down. I can see where this one might have a little bit of an issue, though, just because of, you know, the decoder being right there. So we're gonna have to figure out a work around that. We might just take this whole thing and shift it over by a couple, like two. How much space we got here? I don't want to run into the whole, you know, bud switch thing, but I think we've got some extra space that we can rotate, like pull this whole thing over by a couple towards the front, so that we can, so that we're not running into the decoder. So yeah, we've got that. Okay, so we've got that. Now there's going to be the outputs that are going to be going out here. I'm trying to think of the best way to do the outputs. Yeah, I know it might make buds, and that's it's something I'm kind of concerned about. But I don't think it will, because I think that it's high enough above the piston row here that it won't create buds. I think. I don't know for sure. It might actually be right in the bud spot. It's looking like it might be. Maybe. No. It might. I think it. Well, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. So we're gonna have to have the things over. X-Ray brought up a good point as I hopped on here, that the lovely screen blocks that we are using for our fancy display are no longer work the same in, you know, the new Minecraft update 1.2. What that means is we're gonna have to figure out another block to replace it with that will cause the same effect. We'll have to do some experimenting with that and find out what we're going to be able to use. There's options. Right now we're using the Stair Funky block, but we don't have to use that. We could try block 36. We could also try. We have some options. We'll try it and try to get it to work. If we can't find anything, well then, you know, maybe we can petition Jeb or somebody to help us out with that. And if not, well, we can just we can see what we can work with. I mean, if we can't have the fantastic, you know, 1-to-1 contrast ratio screen, it still looks pretty good just pulling in. So and just having the shadow of the cast by the blocks above it. So it looks pretty good. But it, you know, I really like the way that we have the 1-to-1 contrast ratio. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Obviously, the servers, we're still running 1.1 on the RDF server, so we're not quite at that stage yet. But when that stage does happen, when we do upgrade the server to 1.2, we'll do some experimenting, and we'll figure out how we can, you know, fix the screen to make it work right for us. Okay, so one of the things that we're going to be doing is, of course, hang on, let me pull up my handy display of walls. Oops, wrong one. Ah, walls, there they are. You know, I did not do my homework. I'm sorry, I didn't rearrange these for easier programming. Not that it particularly matters for right now, because I'm not programming anything, but I really wanted to get that done this week, and I kind of got all wrapped up in a bunch of other stuff. Mainly, I don't know if you've heard about this, but or if you follow my YouTube channel, you'll have seen this by now, but I've just put out the first trailer for a game that I'm creating called Dread. It's a top-down action horror game, and it's pretty cool. It's on my YouTube channel, so yeah, it's just like a 3-minute long teaser trailer. The alpha for the game is going to be free to play. It's good, you know, so you can test it and all that kind of stuff. And hopefully, I'll have that out and available for download within, hopefully by this weekend, but no guarantees on that. It's programming. Random stuff can come up all the time. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look at these. These are our walls that have the possibility for having cracked walls in them. So we've got 1, 2, 3, actually all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, because the middle one, of course, will have cracked walls too. All of these have the potential for being cracked, quote unquote. Of course, the little tiny ones, the graphics for a crack in a little itty bitty tiny wall is that. Just one little dot, so that'll be easy. The other ones, they're going to be a little more complicated, of course, because we want to have somewhat of a cracked wall. And for each one of these ones where we can see both the front like this and the side like this, we want to make sure that the cracks are visible on both sides. So like if we put a crack here like so, and a crack also on the side of it, which is just going to be tiny, like I don't know, something like that maybe. That way, when the wall is displayed, you will be able to see that it's a fully cracked wall on the side and on the front. And if you notice, I only have a little bit of space here. I'm only putting stuff in these 3 vertical dots, and the reason for that is if I try and do the crack somewhere in up here where there's static drawing stuff, I can't really turn that off as easily using the system that I'm talking about doing, where with the separated inputs going to the display block. So I kind of have a limited space to work with, but that's okay because I can it still looks fine. You can tell that's a breakable wall. So, and that's mainly what we're going for. We just want to make sure that it looks good and then it looks functional. So we're gonna have something like a breakable wall in the middle here. Like that. So it looks like a crack in the middle. The walls here we're going to be doing a little bit differently because they're more up close. So we can have a larger crack. We've got all of this space, all of this gap here. So I can make like an entire little S-shaped crack going down the wall, something like that. Like that. Something like that. I don't know. I don't really like the way that looks though, but that's fine for right now. And then we'll just mirror that on that and that. So let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, basically all of our occlusion cold data, which is all the stuff on the left here, is going to have the possibility for having a crack. So we're going to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We're going to have 15. 15 total 15 total outputs from the dynamic object system going to the display. Those are the words that I'm intending to come out of my mouth. Which means that we're going to have what the? That was weird. It just went all black all of a sudden. And I'm in a glass prison. What is even this? Peric's AFK box. I like it. Die, window. Alright, so we've got that. We got 15 outputs that are going to be going out to the display. And those 15 are going to be tying into this. Gremilcar is suggesting in the chat that we go through and make the new occlusion culling system, which is going to be updating and making this whole system run faster. You want me to get 7 bits before the basal flop? No, we're going to want the 7 bits after the basal flops. It's definitely got to be after, because it's where the player currently is. So yeah, you definitely want it to be after. So yeah, I'm going to go back and I'll check on that in a second. Graham, let me just finish this. Explaining what I'm going to be checking on. He's talking about updating the occlusion culling system. We talked about putting some vertical transmission through the middle, There's a few things that we want to update and dig into to fix and make this system more efficient. So let's go take a look and see what Graham has going on here, because we're kind of excited about that. Yeah, there's some good potential there. Let's see. What have we got here? Okay, so we've got a horizontal based piston push block occlusion culling method that dips down like this to allow for instantaneous transmission of the data past the occlusion culling system, and that'll take out some of the basically it'll take out a repeater for every single one of these data stacks, which is awesome, and will make it almost almost a whole second more efficient in rendering, which is amazing, at least at best. Alright. So yeah, that's good. Looking at this is kind of interesting. We've got the outputs going to from this new system. You can see they're a little more they're quite a bit wider. There's an additional space here that that the other one doesn't have, because like all of the feeds going here are why do I have 2 redstone stacks in my hotbar? That's a good question. I don't know, but this is actually 3 wide instead of 2 wide. Like these ones are. There's 1 space in the middle, and these ones have 2 spaces. So that means we're going to have to create a new busing system for all of this, a busing adapter to adapt the new system into the existing busing that connects to the display. That's, of course, is not that big a deal. It's going to add a little bit more onto it here, but what it adds in busing here is more than made up for the speed that this will add to the rendering process, which is cool. Oh, I just noticed Drakari on the live stream says he doesn't know what a basal flop is. Basal flop is a basal flip flop. It's these guys right here, and what it does is it kind of works. It works as like a data storage system. The feeds come in, and it will activate and deactivate depending on whether it's all basically piston based. It's a really cool system for flip flops. It's very efficient. If you have the time, I highly recommend looking it up, because they're awesome, and we've used them in a couple of places. We actually have our directional shifter, which is right here, is made out of basal flops, modified basal flops to make it work. But yeah, they are basal flops, and they allow the player to change where they're standing quickly and efficiently. Anyway, back to the data here, the outputs. I'm looking at all of this, and we've got a lot of good stuff here. Yeah, we've got vertical transmission also of the power feeds that you can see here, because we have that extra gap, which is really that's pretty cool. We can shave even more. Well, I don't know if we can. I don't know if it'll shave more ticks off of it or not, but yeah, it's very helpful nonetheless, especially for doing the middle pieces, like what I'm talking about doing for the dynamic objects. But unfortunately, it also means gutting quite a bit of work that has already been done. There are a few things that are going to be different. I think pretty sure, let's see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it's 4, which is, you know, I believe the same as this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So, yeah, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is actually 5. So it might be a little bit shorter than the existing system, because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so it is definitely shorter, and so it's going to be interesting. There's going to be we're going to be able to shrink this busing down because of that. And that will make up for the additional busing that we're going to be doing for this. It's going to be very interesting. It's very, very interesting. Oh, apparently we're doing the open server. I mean, we're doing open server is you know, something. It's open server day is something that we do. I think like every weekend, or I'm pretty sure that's what we're doing, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun, but I don't know if we're doing it right now or not. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm looking at this and having that shifted up. Now, see, it's going to be very interesting. Because I'm trying to think here. Okay, I'm trying to like prioritize what we should be doing today. I want to get. I'm thinking that what we'll do for today is build the dynamic object system, the actual system itself, and have the outputs just kind of dead end here and not hook it up yet until we have until we go through and gut this and replace it and fix it, which we'll probably end up doing next episode, which will be episode 13, which is kind of terrifying in a way just because it's episode 13. But you know, if bad stuff's gonna happen, it might as well be on episode 13, right? So you know, whatever. Yeah, so we're gonna just continue on and start making this thing. Graham's working on adjusting the 7-bit outputs to here, which are going to be tied into the thing. And by the thing, I mean the. I'm just going to pull this one out so we can start working on it here. The dynamic object system. So let's see. Gotta remember exactly how to build one of his fancy dancy little decoders. Fancy dancy. Okay. The decoder is going to be facing out this way, so you know it's got a block on one side and a block on the other. Oops. And I think that covers one of the. Covers one of them. One of the bits per se. So I got that, and then that. So that feeds down into one of them, which is going to be right here. Ta-da! And then this guy's gonna feed down into another one, which will be right here. And so that's gonna be here. Okay. There's some. These are gonna be the output feeds. I mean, not the output. This is gonna be the power line feeds that go to the outputs. I think we're gonna be doing that a little bit differently than before, because we've got our 15 outputs are going to be. Oh, let's get rid of this. This is in the way now. You You are in my way. You must go. Shoot, I don't know. Expand it by what? 1, 2, 3. Expand by 3. And then expand by 4. Expand by 4. And I think that covers most everything. And there's some stuff down there, but yeah. I'm gonna expand it out by... Expand by what? Oh, I don't know, 10. Forget it. Let's just do that. Set air. Poof. Go away. Right. Oh, got a little extra hanging on the side there. Let's get rid of that. A little extra. Cool. Break all of this good stuff. Oops, I just put a hole in my floor. I just put another hole in my floor. I want to quit putting holes in my floor. Let's get rid of my redstone stack. I don't need that. Let's stick the wool here instead. 'Cause apparently, I really don't need 2 redstone stacks. Alright, so we've got that. We're gonna have, what, 15 feeds coming off this sucker? I'm trying to think of what we're gonna do as far as that goes. We might feed it to the center and then up through the middle. Might feed it off to the side. I guess, well, that will depend on what we do with the end product. So let's just stick these here for now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so those are our... Aww, I love you too, random sign. Die. Okay, so 15, these are going to be our outputs. They're probably going to go, you know, some other stuff. We're going to be doing this very, very differently than... Well, I'm not very differently, very similarly, that's what I was meaning to say, as we have the, as this goes. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for the orientation. If we have this on the side, and if we stick the 7, yeah, the 7 bits are definitely going to have to be synchronized so that it'll display properly. Okay, so if we take this and we rotate it, because right now it's kind of going this way, and we're going to be expanding it out this way in its current configuration, but that's not necessarily good. If we turn it around and we span it out this way, then not only will we have our outputs closer to the to where they should be, but it'll also be lessening, because if we start going out this way, then it just takes that much longer for the signal to reach around that way. If we start expanding this way, then it'll be fine. We'll have the corner rotated here. I have the 7 bits here, and it'll turn and go this way instead, which is good. We just want to make sure that the 7 bits that come out are not only synchronized to what's coming over here, but that we're not losing, that everything is syncing up properly when it renders. Yeah. Alright, so let's see. Let's take what I've done and destroy it. Oh, there we go. Hello, big melon blocks. Alright, so now we've got these ones. One of the good ones here. Hey! 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 Where'd the blocks go that I just laid down? Come back, blocks. I love you, blocks. Don't go away from me. Okay, so we got that, and we got that, and that's gonna feed off to this way. Let's see. We're gonna need some decoders onto this thing, but let's make sure we give ourselves enough room that we're not interfering with this. Because I'm concerned about that. That would suck. It would be bad, real bad. Okay. Okay, so if we move out to the side like this and stick our decoder right here, we can stick our little blocks off to the side. And no, we're gonna want that to be one block further, Arshia. One block over to the side. Otherwise, we're gonna have some interruptions, I think. Yeah, they have to be two apart. Okay, so we're gonna add this. I'm gonna drop this down like so. Stick a redstone repeater on top. And do the same one here. Why? Because why not? And that'll tell us where we need to put our feed lines, which are going to be right here. So our feed lines are going to come out to, I don't know, however far. And this one's going to come out to, I don't know, however far. However, whatever. So it's going to go out, and we've got a couple of feed lines here, and these feed lines are the power lines. They're going to activate the output feeds from the thing, one of the 15 outputs. So now let us figure out what we're going to do for the outputs. We're going to need not much space about underneath each one. For the data row, we're going to need another block underneath that for the outputs. So that's going to be our 1. And we're going to be doing this like 15 times. So 2, 3, that kind of thing. I'm gonna stack it. Yeah, because I like to stack things. Stacking things is good. It's very good to stack things. Okay. Yes, Graham. Man, server's lagging right now. There it goes. I'm listening, Graham. I'm gonna stack this anyway. 15? Or 14 times. Stack 14. Stack 14 times. Pew! Stack. Stack. Or don't stack. That's fine. You don't have to stack if I command you. Oh, hey, look, it's stacked! How lovely. That's very nice of it. Alright. So let's see. Graham is saying, we want to turn decoder on another side. Do I want to turn the decoder on another side? Do you, huh? What? I'm curious as to what exactly you mean, Graham. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what you mean. You probably mean something that is very relevant to what I'm doing, because that's usually the case. But, you know, still, I don't know what you mean. So, we've got the 15 out here. We've got the, those are our power feeds. The power feed is going to connect to the data feed to have decoder turn same way as the first decoder. Yeah, we're gonna need a a corner, and the decoder is gonna come off to the side here, just like and it's all gonna come off in this direction. Since the feeds are aligned. I think it's coming off in the same thing. to handle that specific turn decoder. Still not quite exactly getting what you're getting at there, Graham. Basically, this is going to come out here and turn into the decoder. The decoder is going to be here and facing this direction, where the outputs are going to be going this way too. And they're going to go out here and, you know, connect into the thing with the 15 blocks and stuff. 15 outputs. So, you know, if you have something very relevant to that, by all means, go for it. I'm just doing stuff. All right. So we got that. And that's going across. That's our outputs. Of interesting notes. This could be some interesting notations here. We're gonna have to have. I guess before I get too rambunctious with this, we're gonna have to have the same these things. The same inhibitors going to prevent. Well, let's see. Are we? Hang on. Let me think here. Well. How? All right. So we've got one output to the display. If it's being powered in that particular direction, the directional feeds are going to have to be connected to it. Yeah, that's going to have to work basically the same as what's going on here. We're going to have the output feeds from the power, from the decoder. So from back here, these output feeds are going to have to connect in to here to prevent data, and then also the output feeds from depending on which direction the player's turned, that's also going to have to work. So depending on the direction that we are, this is just going to deactivate the power to the whole thing, and the decoder, the directional stuff is going to have to pump in and block specific lines depending on which direction the player is facing. I don't think we need a we're going to also need the directional blocker thingamajigger on the front, but that's going to be a little bit more tricky though, isn't it? Because if we're building this thing out this way, so all of our data is going to be heading over here, then the signal data for these inhibitors is also going to have to travel all the way down here, and it's going to have to reach these, reach the front of the dynamic objects before the data can propagate. So we're going to have to use some instant repeaters in order to get that signal down here faster than the data can output, or something like that. That's going to be a little tricky. This should be an interesting challenge for sure, if nothing else. So yeah, we got that. It looks good. Actually, I think I did a little too much here when I stacked it, because it should actually be that. But that's okay. Whatever. Whatever. So there's that. Okay, so the outputs are going to go. These ones are going to be activated not only by the power up here, so it's going to have to be connected probably somewhere in the middle again. I don't know. If we do it off to the side, then we have a lot more stuff. So let's go ahead and split this down the middle like we did with the other ones, because we got 15 outputs, and if we have the power coming down the middle, then we can make sure that everything is as powered at the same time. So let's take a look at our little diagram here and see what exactly we have for the outputs. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've got 9 on the one side. All right. So we go out 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, let's see. No, other direction, because this is the left side of the screen. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. So that's where our split's going to be. How much space did we have to put here? I think we had to put, what, 4 blocks, something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 in between each one, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's actually 5. Okay, so we're gonna skip it, and then we're gonna shift this whole thing down by 4 so that we have those nice 5 blocks. There we go. And move 4. Chunk. So you have a nice division down the middle, just like we did before. And yeah, he's very good. Shadow. Oh, melon shadow. Okay, so this is where we're going to have our feeds come down through the center, very similarly to the way that we had it have it on the rest of it. We're just going to mirror what Graham has done for there. There's no directional data for this, is there? No, because we're not setting any directional data, are we? No, we're not. Okay, so we're not setting any directional data. The data coming off of here is just visual. Anytime that it's activated, it's going to feed back to there. Now we're going to need a little bit more space, as I'm, thinking about it here. In that we're going to have a I guess I could use a basil flop for that too. We just like basil flops. Basil flops are fun. So we're going to have a thing. The basil flop, how are we going to do that? I think that what we'll do is we'll have a basil flop on the side here that acts as an inhibitor, or doubles, I should say, as an inhibitor for the power feed that goes down to the stacks. So in other words, let's say that we have this is off. I mean, when it's off, it's on. So this is off, which is good. I'm gonna put a basil flop on the side. So we're gonna put a basil flop. Oh, I can't really put it right there, but I can stick it up a little bit, I think. Oh, whatever, as long as it connects to it. Let's see. So for basil flop, we need. Remember how to make a basil flop off the top of my head. All right, so we've got a thingy. Oh, wrong direction. We want the basil flop to go this way. Yep, and then another one right there. Perfect. So that's going to feed into that, and that, and then... This is what happens when more than one person does these kind of things. It's like everybody's like, "Ooh, we can do it," and then everybody's breaking everybody's stuff. That's fine, as long as it works. And we got it, and it works. So that's going to be our basil flop, and we're going to have a basil flop on each one of these feeds, because each one of these feeds is just specific for one particular wall. So this basil flop here is going to be what prevents the stuff from passing through. So, yep, and as you can see, it flops like it do. So then what we're going to have is when the device, or I should say when the thingy is broken. So when this particular wall is being looked at at the point where it can be destroyed, the feed from the action button, which is going to come off of here and come around. Let's see, I think the action button's in the back, right? Yeah, action button's in the back. So this is the action button feed. That's going to come over here and connect to network to all of the basal flops, so that if the direction, if it's in a situation where the location and direction that the player is facing is correct, then it will shut off that particular, it will deactivate that particular dynamic object. Now let me just double check here and think if that's what I need it to do. There's also going to be some extra interesting stuff. This basal flop, depending on, because each one of the that's right. All right, this is where I got mixed up. All right, so each one of these is a position in the world that we're going to be looking at it. So this is a position. So this basal flop for one particular object may actually be tied to several positions, depending. And let's see, how exactly is that going to work? I'm trying to think here. Because if we have multiple objects, say we have multiple walls, multiple broken walls, or breakable walls. If we have one position that has two breakable walls, say one on the left and one on the right, how is the system going to be able to handle that? It's going to have two sets of outputs. They're going to have to be independently controlled. Interesting. I just realized that this is not going to work. Because this is great for one particular, this can handle one object in a particular direction, but it can't handle multiple objects. Like if there's a block here and a block here, turning this on or off will disable or break, quote unquote, both blocks rather than just one or the other. So I'm going to have to come up with a much more independent system. One that is dependent upon, it's going to be different than this, isn't it? One basal flop is going to have the potential to go out to multiple things depending on whether that direction is faced, and if there's a position. Okay, so let me think here. It's very difficult. Very difficult, because what I was planning is not going to work. Great, so I get started from scratch again. So 15 objects. For 15 outputs, one to each object. Each feed is going to have to be independently controlled by a basal flop. Each basal flop is going to be dependent upon what it can see, or where the player is and what they can see. So I definitely need something that incorporates the 7-bit player data, as well as the 4 different positions are ahead of inner feeds. Turn to left will align them. Whoa. Oh, I see what you're saying, because of... Yeah. That's not a big deal, Graham. We can... it won't add any more. A turn to the right will add 2 more tick delay. Okay, I see what you're saying, Grab. Yeah, I see. But there's a problem. This 2 more tick delay. I mean, if we turn it to the right, it has to go off this way. If we turn it to the left, it has to go off this way. And if we turn it to the right, then it can come along here, and that will allow us to shorten the amount of time that it takes to do it. But okay, well, as long as it can go both ways. Let me think. But at the same time, right now, you know, we're kind of realizing that whole system is not going to work for us in the very least. So we have to figure out a system that will work so that we can, and then we'll know what we're going to do with the decoders, and we'll figure that out then. Let's see. Big fan of the show. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jay Sniff. You're awesome. Woohoo! I like my fans. Fans are good. So, this is kind of mind-boggling right now, because I have to have something that takes the 7-bit data and also takes the four. Okay, so here's the problem, Graham. This system won't work because if we have 2 different objects, say, I don't know, I'm just arbitrarily putting this in here, here and here, that's like for one on the left wall and one on the right wall. I guess it would actually be more relevant to have it over here or something. So there's one on the left and one on the right. This system will shut off both blocks when it gets activated by when the basal flop activates. Because it'll shut off this feed and it'll shut off this feed. So we're gonna need something that that has independent output control. So each one of the basal flops will be connected to a specific set of outputs. Ooh, hang on. I think I'm getting something here. I think I'm realizing something. If we change this up a little bit, I think we can get this to work. Well, I mean, well, no, that's not going to work either, because we're going to have that. Huh. Well, it's not really the matter of the left and the right being separated. They're already, I mean, I already added the chunk in here to keep them separated. The problem is that this system can only handle one dynamic object on the screen at a time. If there's more than one dynamic object to be displayed on the screen, this can't independently destroy more than one object. So we have to figure out a system that can independently destroy an object. So each one of these basal flops is going to have to be tied to a particular data set for each direction. So if we switch this up so that each one of these is not relevant to a particular position, but instead relevant to a particular direction, then, I mean, not direction, but a particular block, then I think we can do it. And each one of these would be output depending on whether they're, each one of these would be activated depending on whether there's that in its position or not. So we'd be looking at a possibility of having something like 10 layers or I don't know how many layers exactly, but like a lot more layers than this, because this is for the 4 directions. This would be for every position. There would be one of these for every position that the player can stand where he would see the dynamic object. So that would work, but then we would have to have a system for figuring out, well, okay, if we have this hooked up to both a 7-bit decoder and a 4-bit decoder, well, not really, not a 4-bit, but well, no, if we have directional stuff put out here, we would need a 7-bit decoder for each one of the layers. So we'd have to have an AND gate. Okay. Whew, boy, this stuff is getting complicated real quick. All right. So if each one of these has just the singular bit of data on it, one measly little bit. Right, exactly. So we're going to need a decoder, a 7-bit decoder, and the 4 bits coming, or the 4 feeds coming off of the directional data, and then we'll have basically like an AND gate, so that if the position is, say, X, and the direction is, say, Y, if both of those combine together to produce this particular output, then that output will activate and show that feed. So we're going to have a certain number of possibilities. Let's see, unless we make RAM and use AND to turn specific one of them on and off. Let's see. Think of what you mean here. Maybe? Maybe. Yeah, this is definitely something to think on. Because the way that, if we do it this way, hang on, let me look at my little display. Because at most, there would be, because if each layer is independent, because we could make it each side independent. 1, 2, so you'd have 9 possible blocks. So we would have 9 possible layers at most. So if we have 9, because right now we've got, with this we've got 4 layers, but technically we have 8. And the reason we have 8 is because, you know, we also have the positional data. But the positional data is not really relevant because this isn't storing the positional data, it's just storing display data. So this has 8 layers and is this big. This will have to have 9 layers tops. 9 for the right side, and I think only like, what, 6 for the other side? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. So 6 layers technically for the for the smaller side, 9 layers for the big side, and then each layer will be activated depending on if it matches up with its decoder and direction combination. That is very doable, and I think that's going to be the fastest way that we're going to be able to handle this. It means that we're going to have this 7-bit data pumped out, or the 7-bit data and directional data pumped into each of the 9 layers, but it'll work. Alright, let's see. Graham is talking. Let's see what he has. I'm always curious, because his ideas are usually very brilliant. Want to do the dynamic display on top of the player shack. Back here. Well, that would certainly speed things up as far as the inputs and outputs go. Right, yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking too. It's vertically up here, like in this open area back here. We have enough room to do it. Especially when we update to 1.2. We're going to have plenty of room. And then we can have the stuff coming through here. Well, let's see. The decoder would come up, because then we could strip it down to just having the one decoder, right? We have the one decoder that right here that has the output, and that output comes up and around. Because right now, as you see, this all goes down to here. We have this coming out the side, and we can just use the existing decoder instead of having to have a decoder on each level. And also then the feeds coming from the positional stuff, which is here, tying into the rest of it as well. Since the decoder lines have to be moved apart by floor blocks. Why? Not in the way that I'm envisioning it, anyway. Not okay, because the way here's what I'm envisioning. Okay, for each position that is relevant, we have this right here that we can pull off of and bring upward as necessary to tie into the dynamic data, because not every position is going to have breakable objects, so I don't think we're going to have much in the way of interference. And one feed from here can then tie into, like, if there's two dynamic objects that you can see from one position, that one positional feed from here can feed outward into both of those dynamic object stacks. It's not yeah. That'll work good. Now the question is, where would the outputs go? Because we have 15 outputs that are going to be going to the display information back here. Since we've got all this stuff, I don't want to say crap because it's definitely not crap, but we've got a lot of stuff in the way. Let's see. I see now. Main problem is also the 9 side selection, since it's not static like direction. Well, okay, so direction is not static, that's for sure. The direction is going to go up. See, the outputs from this are going to come out. I'm just making an arbitrary thing. Okay, so this goes up, and let's say that from this position, depending on which direction it goes, let's say this is going to the dynamic object. So this is going out to the dynamic objects. This is coming up. We're also going to tie, let's say, this direction. So if this direction's coming off here, and if we are facing in this direction, and we're going to here, so it'd be like an AND gate. We'd just stick an AND gate here, so that when that and that matches up, then the feed will deactivate and allow the dynamic object to be passed through. Since not, I meant the direction persists as one moves forward. Yeah, it does, and that's fine, because the direction data is going to go out and it's going to tie into the AND gate. So if it's all about if and, or it's basically an if equation here. We've got if the position and the direction match up, then show the dynamic object. So if we can also see that dynamic object from this position, then this position is going to feed off into this too, and there will be there'll also be an AND gate here. There will be like if we're facing that direction and this direction, well then the dynamic object is still displayed depending on which one of the 9. Yes, the 9 selector will change because there's 9 different things. So there's going to be an and, because that feed is going to come up, and yeah, we should just make it. let's just make it. Sometimes it's a lot easier to just make it than to sit here and try and like explain it. So let's see. Now, 15 feeds outputting to the display. Where are these 15 feeds going to go? That is a very good question, Barrick. I'm glad you asked. The 15 feeds are probably going to have to go off to the side. Actually, if we do it in the middle, we can split off the feeds just like we have it kind of down here. We can have the left side feeds going on this side, and the right side feeds going on this side. And it's going to come down and connect into the outputs here. So that's great. So we'll just feed it off from the sides, and it'll go right up above. Yeah, it'll go right above all the rest of the static object. So that'll work perfect. It worked perfect. Kazuma says he might be insane. Yeah, no, I think I'm definitely insane. I don't think there's a might. Yeah, yeah. So it's gonna, yeah, it'll connect, yeah. Yeah. Alright, so we have, let's see, for this we have there's 9 bits going off to the side here. And there's another one's going off to the side here. We'll have to connect that back. We'll have to start building that back a little bit. Back here. We got 15 outputs. The outputs will probably be going to the side. Are we going to have them tied down? Let's see. I'm trying to figure out. Now I'm trying to think of the orientation that this thing's going to be in. It would be best if the 15 outputs came out the front of here, and then broke off into their particular directions. So we've got yeah, that's going to be a whole lot better to do it that way. So if we make our 15, we're going to want them to be up higher somewhere right around here. I think. So let's grab our 15 blocks that I already very conveniently made down here, and we're going to copy them, and we're going to figure out where exactly we want to put the suckers. I'm just going to stick them somewhere arbitrary right now, like here. How's that look? Other than, you know, not being centered, looks like that is not going to interfere with the with those at all. Yeah, so let's center this a little better. Let's move it by what? 6, 7. Move 7. There we go. That's a lot better centered. Is it right above the other ones? Yeah. Okay, good. I'm gonna have 6 on one side, 9 on the other. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 on the other. So let's take these guys. Oh, no. Yeah. Okay, so let's take these guys. We're going to move them over by 4. Give us that nice gap that we like so much. And then let's take and recenter this, because we definitely need to move it. Let's see. I guess we don't really need to move it. It's actually right dead center on how it is down below. That's amazing. Because math. Yay, math. I like math when it works like I want it to. Okay, so these are going to be our 15 outputs here. Let's see. Let's go ahead and take this and expand it by 1, and then shock the heck out of Gamer Bro as I stack it 14 times. Pew! Surprise! Of course, I think I just, of course, broke in the other stuff, which is bad. Let's see. We need to break these guys because they're in the way. That's all lined up right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, perfect. That's the way it should be. And so those are going to be our outputs from the dynamic object system. So let's start actually putting some outputs together and having that feed together, because we're going to have to be doing it very similarly to the way that we're doing it down here. We need to have let's see. When you feed up, contour feeds vertically and move the separating gap to the feeds. Well, this is kind of the separating gap here. The separating gap is going to be what powers... Why do we have a separating gap? Do we need a separating gap? Gap here. Where are you, Graham? Gap on the side here instead of there. Alright, quick jump at spawn. Yeah, I'll hop over to spawn for a second. Why, Graham? I'm curious. I mean, you must have a good reason. You always do. Flowers! Yay! Flowers! Cool. Flowers. That's cool. I like how we've got like little arenas going on here. I think this is like a deathmatch arena. Yeah. Is that our new trial process? Trial by deathmatch? I'm guessing that the one over here is going to be yellow, because we've got red, green, blue, and yellow. I don't know. Spawn is broke. He'd be fixing soonish, okay? Alright. That looks good. I like it. They are different spawns. Cool. Okay. So let's see. Graham is saying we have different position of feeds. As such, the gap should accommodate the feeds. Well, see, there's yes and no. I mean, the gap right now is accommodating the feeds. The 9 blocks on the left, this side over here, are the feeds that are going to be going to the left side of the screen. The 6 blocks on the right are the feeds that are going to be going to the right side of the screen. So right now, it is split right down the middle of the feeds. Here's the new feed location. Oh, I see what you're talking about. The feeds from the feeds from the decoder, not the feeds going into the display. Gotcha. Now, see, I'm tracking. I got you. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. That makes sense. That's gonna be interesting. On the one hand, I definitely see where that would be good. No, I know. I'm not worried about that. I'm trying to trying to think ahead here too, because we have the one that we have a whole bunch of here. But the key difficulty with scooting them too far off to the side, away from the away to accommodate that the feeds from the decoder, is that it is going to be getting these feeds around and over the output feeds to the display, because we've already got stuff in the way. This is already way too these output feeds are too close to the front here, and we're gonna have to angle this over already as it is. So hey, I have an idea. Why what if we do it like this? What if we take this guy and we move it, instead of moving it to this direction, we move it to the left to get it almost like out of the way of the movement, the movement shifter, and then we scoot this over to the, well, I guess it doesn't even really need to be scooted over to the right. That can pretty much stay right where it is, and I think that would work even better. Let's see, we can move it, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I don't know, let's move it 10. Move 10. Not 19, just 10. So if we move it to here, we could even move that over if we wanted to. We could shift everything over to accommodate, but like if we move this over this way too far, we're gonna have to get around this stuff. I don't know, I guess. Well, the only reason I'm hesitating to move them all the way above the player controls is mainly because we might be running into a height limit problem. But wow, what am I talking about? We're going to be switching over to 1.2 before this thing is even done. And so we're going to have 250 some odd blocks, or 255 blocks worth of height to mess around with, rather than just the 128 that we have now. So there's not going to be a height problem. So yeah, let's just move it up. Move it on up. Move it on up. There we go. Alright, so let's move it up. I don't know. Oh, I thought I said 128. My bad. That's what I meant, was 128. Move 20? I don't know. Up? Where does that take us? Whoa! Lovely. There we go. I post this nice and above everything. Let's see. Gamer Bro was here. Then we could, I suppose we could scoot that in. I suppose we could scoot that over. Well, yeah, well, I guess we could scoot that over, huh? Can we scoot that over? Now, Graham, I'm looking at this and now I'm thinking about some other stuff. The other thing I'm thinking is that the distance between the decoders and the dynamic objects is going to add just, some delay. I guess it doesn't really matter, because the delay will be heading to the screen anyway. No matter what, we're going to end up with delay. So we might as well have it feed in. Well, it actually won't even be that bad, because look at where we are. We are almost in line with the middle section, which is where we're supposed to be. So that'll work out okay. That will work out okay. Okay, so let's see. That's gonna be our outputs. All right, so let's go. Let's take and start moving this on up. Move it on up. I'm thinking. All right, let's run this line out, crossed. That's way too far to get over to here. I actually need to move this over. I'm just gonna move this over. Doop. Let's move it over by, I don't know how much I moved it over last time, so let's move it by 10. So I think that was right. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's right. Cool. Very cool. Our selection. That is accommodating from the feeds down below. Let's see. I'm not actually going to tie it into the feeds here. Was that what? Oh no, we have a problem. I don't want it to be a problem. Ah, crap. You are correct, sir. You are correct, sir. Heck, position 2 doesn't even work. Now, of interesting note here, just kind of interesting. We can cheat this. Or can we? Yeah, we can cheat it. We can totally cheat this. And what I mean by cheating is when I make this and program this for the levels, I'm going to make sure that there are no dynamic objects within the first 3 objects. Or first 3 positions. Position 4 and on, everything past position 4 will have enough output signal to be able to use it from this end. Train Jumper says, could you move the entire thing up, then wire underneath? Well, we already have some of the wiring going underneath. This is the wiring output for the static objects. The dynamic objects, they're going to be wiring either from the middle or from over the top, depending on whichever's more efficient. That way they don't, get in the way of each other. Okay. So yeah, when we design the level, we'll just make sure that everything from that at least the first 3 positions can't see any dynamic objects. And I mean, technically, we could, if we absolutely had to. Well, no, we couldn't even do it from there and there, because it wouldn't matter. Well, no. Well, I mean, if we absolutely had to have, when I do the map, if I absolutely must have a dynamic object within the first 3 player positions, then we can pull it off from the other side, and that'll work just fine. Because we can pull it off from the right for those first couple positions, and then the left on all the rest, if need be. Yeah, I mean, but that's only if need be, because that's only applicable to the first 3 positions. Like I said, every position after that is gonna have enough output to go to our system above. So, which is kind of, you know, in the position of where it is. And yeah. All right, so now let me think about this. We've got our out. Let's say we've got outputs. Great. We've got, you know, this is one of our things, and it's, you know, sending. I guess it would only actually be one torch, but let's say, okay, yeah, we can see this. So we need. I don't know. Let's say in position 4 we can see that block. So we're gonna run our 4th position upward. It's gonna end up here. Yeah, we gotta break this middle part. To accommodate. Yeah, it's another problem. Like I said, we could make it work if we had to, but I don't think we have to. Let's say position 4, we've got, because not every position is also is going to have a feed out either. Like position 4, you could probably see something, but maybe not position 5, 6, 7, or 8, or, you know, whatever. So it's all kind of dependent on that. So let's see. What we're going to need is we're going to have a feed come up. Our power feed is going to come up from below. And we're also going to have to tie into one of our directional feeds. We can actually, cool thing about our basal flop directional shifter is that the outputs actually, they go out the back too. So we can use the feeds coming off the back instead of tying into the ones coming off the front. So let's say in, goodness, excuse me. Let's say for position 4, it's going to head up there. And this position's going to head up there for just this row. Now there's going to have to be 9 of these rows. So let's go ahead and see what that does. Up 8. Oops. Stack 8. Up. Boom. Hey, look at that. We don't even run out of height room. How cool is that? We're probably going to have to split this up a little bit further because I don't know if we can put all of the gates and stuff that we want to put into this within this amount of space. I don't know. We'll see. You know, it's all about exploring and figuring out what we can do. Let's see. Well, if need be, we can shift the dynamic objects over to the left some more from my position. Move it over to, you know, get stuff out of the way. So let's see. We have all the outputs. We have the button. It's gonna come up here. So we have one power feed coming up. Let's say for this. I don't know. That works. Let's say this one. So we have one power feed. We're probably going to have to separate these out a little bit more. I'm looking at that. There's not enough space. Because if you know, like, I don't think we can tie all of that together in the one spot. Huh. Yeah, I think we're probably going to have to space this out a little bit more. But, because we're going to have Okay, so if we're facing position 4, it connects to this. This is going to be deactivated, so this is going to be powered if both, say, the output feed from one of these Alright, so Graham is making a power stack. Let's go ahead and shift this over to accommodate that. Bam. Alright, so we're going to want to shift this over by what? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 8. To better accommodate. I think I done thunk. I done did thunk. Alright. Let's see. So we've got this guy coming up. So let's say we have one of the outputs here. I don't know. That's going to have to go up and connect to it as well. This is difficult. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to accommodate that. Let's see. So that's position whatever. That combined with, let's just for easiness sake, also connect this guy over into, I wonder if we can just do it all in one power stack. Can we adapt our thingy here to just one power stack so that when this is on, so when this is on, it's going to feed into here. Actually, this needs to be inverted. Doop. And so that when that power stack deactivates, oh, don't worry, Grandma, I'm just messing around. So go ahead and plow through my stuff however you need to. So that's both going to feed into that. That way it'll be directional based. Oh no, we're going to have it be more independent than that. Because this is going to have to, the 4 stacks here are going to have their own separate power stacks. Graham, just an FYI, there's 4 other, we're going to need not only the power stacks coming off the decoder, but we're also going to need separate power stacks coming off of each of the 4 directional feeds too. So let's see, are we going to have to split it? No, no, we can tie that up. Yeah, that'll be fine. So I have the 4 coming up from that, and then depending on that and that combining together to connect to one of these. Yeah, I think we'll have to adjust this to accommodate better. We'll have to move this over to the left by 1. this one over to the right by at least one, probably more. What a pain. It'll work, but what a pain. Okay, let's take that and let's move it over. Let's get it out of the way. We need to move it over at least by what? We're doing it here. We need to move it over by 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. So let's shift it by 4. Move 4. Okay. And then this guy might actually be in the right position, but I'm not 100% sure. No, because each one of these is going to have its own power stack going up. Yeah, we'll have to split this over too. How much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, let's move it by 10. Oop. Just to get it out of the way. We can always move it back to better align it properly. Graham, we're going to run into a problem. You're going to want to shift your current stacks over some, otherwise you're going to run into the player area. So you'll have to kind of, yeah, move it over to the move it off to the side a little bit more, off to the left towards your other power stacks. Well, just enough that it doesn't run into the player area. So coming off to the side, we're coming off to the side. Oh, well, I guess it's coming. Maybe not. That looks like it might actually be running into the player controls. So yeah, probably just like 1 or 2 over or something. I don't know exactly. Oh, no. I'm not worried about from a visual perspective. I mean, these stacks are going to run into the controls. I know they're out of the visual range, but they're going to, you know, interfere with these inputs coming into the switcher. See what I mean? These 4 power stacks, aren't they? Or are they not? Hang on. Looking at it, yeah. It looks like it's going to. So they need to be moved over by like 1. Oh, goodness. Okay. An hour and 43 minutes into the broadcast. This is good, guys. This is good. Got a lot of planning going on today. So that's going to tie up into that. And then each one of these, like as they come up, it's going to have to connect to its corresponding one. This is going to be complicated. Very complicated. Because we've got, right now, all of those positions, but there's not going to be that many positions together. I might actually just take and separate this out. I don't know. Realistically, once this is put upward, I mean, once we have this into place, these stacks, then I can adapt this system to that. Depending, and that's all going to be dependent upon the level layout, which was part of my homework, and I have not yet completed it yet. So I don't know exactly what the level layout's going to be, but I do know that there's going to be some dynamic objects. Let's see. So, well, one of the things that we can do here, we can. Oh goodness. Sorry about that. I thought I usually put my phone on silent, so that kind of thing doesn't happen. But apparently, I did not do it this time. So, you know, go figure. All right. Let's see. So let's take this expanded out a bit here. Add some stuff here. It's basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing the same thing that we did down below. Expand by 1. Stack by 8. Okay. It's the same thing that we have going on down here. We're going to need these same lovely vertical stacks that pass the data on down from all of their corresponding feeds. So let's see. Let's not 100% sure how that's going to work, but when am I ever 100% sure that anything is going to work? Alright, let's take this. We're going to go down to here. We're going to expand this out by 1. Expand by 1. And then we're going to take and we're going to stand here. Actually, let's stand where one of the feeds connects into it. So let's stand here. And I'm going to copy it. I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it up here. Stand where one of the feeds goes. Let's see, yeah, so we're going to do it on the outside edge. And we're going to paste it here. Oops. And that's going to give us a nice stack that starts going upward, but not quite finishing going upward. Let's make sure that this vertical stack even works with our current configuration of stuff. Looks like it will tie in perfectly on each feed, which is good. So basically I just need to duplicate this power spiraling upward until it reaches the top, which we can do. Let's see, I'm going to let's see, how far down from that is that? Let's see, we've got this, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So from below, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. It's basically copying it from the upward stack will be separated a bit for ease of access. Okay. Sounds good to me. Where was I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if I copy everything from here up, come back, be selected. Be selected. Thank you. And come up here. Something like that. Let's see, what do we need to do? We need to expand it over by 1. By 1. Expand. Yoo-hoo. Expand. Man, we are lagging hardcore right now on the server. Hardcore laggage. Ah, there we go. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. How far away from the height limit? Up here? Not very far. Not very far indeed. Okay, so if I stand on this, I go copy, then I come up here to the top layer, and I stand in the exact same spot, and I go paste. What's going to happen? All good things, I hope. Yep, all good things. So that will match up perfectly. Okay. And that's going to go down. This is going to go down. Okay, so if we tie all of this into their corresponding things, we'll do some quick verification checks. Make sure that everything not only connects, but that the signals propagate down the feeds without losing themselves, which is, you know, important. Or not losing themselves, but losing their power. Ooh, that's a lot of stacks. It actually doesn't even need to be this many stacks on the other side, which is cool. I like that, because that means there's less work. And I'm lazy. I don't like less. I like less work. I don't like more work. More work is bad. Less work is good. Okay. What is you? Why are you? Why are you? I don't know. I don't know why you are. Ah, I know why you are. So that you don't interfere with each other. Perhaps. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know why you are. So I'll get rid of you. I'll probably regret it later. But for now, you are gone. There be feeds. Yay! Awesome. So we've got all of our combination feeds that will go out to be able to tell each system, each feed, whether it should be on or not. That's cool. Oh, let's see. Now comes the fun part of trying to figure out each combination, but the best way to do that is actually to have some data. So I'm going to wait to figure out the combination system until I actually have some data. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this, these power stacks, the ones up here. Let's make sure their data propagates. Okay, that's good. Let's try this one. Okay, that's good. Pretty sure everything should be alright, but you know, you never know. Better be safe than sorry. Okay, that's good too. We got... That's good. Oops. There we go. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. And that's good. How cool is that? Obviously that one's good. I don't even know why I tested that one. Duh, it's good. It's right there. Anyway, let's take and stack this all the way across. And that will be everything that we need as far as these go. I know that's not going to be enough. Need to expand it out at least by one this way. Right, yep. And then also expand it by one this way. Yep, okay. And then we're going to take and we're going to stand here and copy stuff. And then paste stuff. Make sure that it's working right. Right, all good. Aha! Ha ha ha! That's what I thought. We have some crosstalk. That's what those blocks were for. See, I knew I would regret that. Ahem. Doop-a-doo. Ba-doop-a-doo. Okay. That should cover that. Alright, so cool. We are going to take then and stack that, what, 1, 2, 3 times. Just 3. And we'll just copy this one over and do it that way because I don't want to destroy their ever so difficultly placed stuff. So we're going to take and we need to expand it 1 in this direction, like so. It goes down and up, and we've got everything like we should. And we're going to copy, and we're going to paste, and that's gonna connect everything together the way it should, and this looks good and good. Okay. I was like, why is this torch off? And I remembered, that's right, I have a torch over here. There we go, all fixed. Cool. So now we've got, oh, you mean these over here? Yeah, I know. I know. I think I know what you're talking about, Graham. Because it's also going to have to control. Hang on. Huh. Okay. Thinking about things, guys. I'm thinking about things. It's also going to have to control Now this is an interesting dilemma. And I just gotta realize this. Alright, so when we're making things, say we have a hallway going off to the side. Alright, we have a long hallway going in front of us, and a hallway off to that goes off to the side that's blocked by a dynamic object, a breakable wall. The breakable wall does not have corners. But when the breakable wall is broken, then there are corners. Which means that not only is this thing, and sometimes there might be a breakable wall that has a corner. I'm trying to think of a situation where that would be the case. It shouldn't be. Because I can't think of a situation where there would be a block, a destroyable block that has a corner, because the destroyable blocks have the destroyable blocks will always be between two other blocks. But they always be along a wall. You never have a corner piece that is a what about an actual corner? No, a corner would have corners. A corner has corners. Wow, who would have thought that? No, a corner block. If there was a corner, and on that corner there was a thing, we're gonna have to need those. We're gonna have to. Okay, so here's basically what this system is. What this is gonna have to do. The dynamic objects, our lovely lovelies here, are also going to have the full range of display outputs, same as our static objects. However, the static objects, see, that's exactly what Kazuma asked. A silly question, but why would a corner be breakable if you're working with 4 directions? Well, if you're okay, let's say that at the end you're looking down a hallway and it's a dead end, okay, but the block just to the left of the dead end is a breakable block that you break through to lead off into another hallway. In that case, there would actually be one of the corner lines drawn where the dead end and the breakable block meet, but that would only be there when the breakable wall when the breakable wall is there. So when the breakable wall is not there, it would shut it off. So what this thing is going to have to do is it's going to have RAM for dynamic stuff. Well, see, it's not so much like I'm not worried about that like as far as like RAM. What I'm trying to figure is because even then we're going to have outputs from the RAM to feed into the graphical data here, but it's a matter of what graphical data needs to come out of our system to be able to handle a wall. So the graphical the data that comes out of our system, whether it's RAM, ROM, or whatever, has to be all 20, however many lines these are, I don't remember, 20 something odd feeds that will connect down into here. Now here's the interesting thing, is that sometimes the feeds that are dealing with the RAM bits for the corner edges, sometimes those are going to have to be on, and sometimes those are going to have to be off. But either time that it does it, it's going to have to inhibit what is currently being fed through. So we're going to have another layer of inhibitors on the inner feed lines. So basically these inner ones, which are all the inner ones here, that will prevent whatever's coming out from this and allow the system to take direct control of the corners for that particular spot. So it's going to be a little bit more complicated than I had originally anticipated because of the corner handling, but it's not going to be that bad. It's just going to be a little more than anticipated. But the outputs, no matter what, from the system, the outputs are going to be the same. So having it being in a ROM setup like this doesn't matter. We're just going to have lots more feeds. Yeah, for sure. Lots of homework this week. Because we're going to have all those feeds and all that good stuff, and it's going to connect in, and all of that good stuff. Whew! There's going to be a lot of thinking going on this week to make sure that everything is working properly. Yeah, so... Oh good, Grems has an idea in his head. Graham's ideas are good. I like Graham's ideas. They are good. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the problem I'm having, Graham. I'm like trying to piece this together in my mind. How is it all going to form? How is it all going to connect together? How is it all going to handle everything? And I had it all laid out, but then I was wrong. So, you know, that would be bad. So I'm going to think about it over the week and, you know, coordinate with Graham, who's obviously also going to be thinking about it over the week, so that we have something, an idea. I have an idea. Listen to Graham. Good idea. So yeah, we're gonna need to figure that out for sure. For sure. So I think that since we don't really know exactly what the heck we're doing, and we are currently at 2 hours and 6 minutes into the broadcast, we're at a good stopping point. Because we can't really go much further with it without knowing what we're doing, unless we want to gut it all and, you know, do a retake of episode 2 through 3. So, let's go ahead and call it good for today. We didn't get as much done as I was hoping, but that's okay. We can definitely... we'll have a lot more to do for next week. We'll have a lot better idea of what we're doing next week. And I think that next week's episode we'll be able to get a lot more done than we were able to do this week. So, thank you all for watching. Very much appreciate it. Hanging out and, yeah, keeping me company and everything. I know that we're having open server week this weekend, so feel free to hop onto the RDF server. It's pretty cool. And I'm being requested at the new spawn. So let's go take a look at the new spawn before I go, just because reasons. This is not spawn. This is the plot map. I clicked on spawn. Spawn. It took me to the plot map. Why is the spawn the plot map? Interesting. But in case you're wondering about some of the things, how we do things on the RDF server, this is the plot map. This is where we map out everybody's plots so that everybody has, you know, a spot on the server. And each one is claimed by individual peoples. And, yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's good. And that's how we keep track of whose plot's whose. Boop. Hey, look at that. So the plot map is apparently right below the spawn now. And we've got a cool stairway heading down. And that's pretty cool. Is this water elevators? Because that would be cool. Looks like it. Kind of. Well, just a waterfall. It's not really so much a water elevator as a waterfall. And whoop. That's cool. And let's see. This looks cool. I like it. It's got this whole like Colosseum type feel to it, which is awesome. But I am curious, how does one get to the plot map? One cannot get into the plot. Oh wait, yes, one can. There's a secret entrance. Hello, Mort. Secret entrance goes out. Tricky. Tricky. Well, I'm sure that obviously they're working on it and going to be building it some more and adding access to the plot map and all that stuff. So that's cool. This looks great. Yeah, good job, guys. Very cool. Okay. Time for me to go. Thank you all for watching. Look forward to seeing you next time. Gonna do a lot more next time than we were able to do this time. So, should be exciting. Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. See you then.